So after being pretty beat down after a couple hard weeks of training, I decided to switch it up a bit. While scrolling through some YouTube, I found a yoga, mobility, and strength class. And I thought, hell, why not? I figured it could be a good thing for my active rest day and as well help me loosen up some tense muscles, stretch out a little bit, and be a beneficial add-on to my training program. And I was right. First off, it's not the easy little movements that I thought it would be. Some of it was actually quite a challenge. But secondly, it helped me so much with some of the pains I've been having and some of the tightness that I've been doing it more and more and more, and now I'm starting to make it a regular part of my training program. And I'm here recording this video with 4 reasons why you should be doing yoga if you're a combat sports athlete. Okay, there are 3 people when they get ready to leave the gym. Number 1, packs up, leaves, he's out. That's all you see of him. Number 2, maybe they touch their toes a little bit. They might do some chest stretches while they talk. Maybe throw the old shoulder over and stretch out the shoulder and the tricep, and then they leave. Number 3, you got the yoga guru stretching out everything. He's putting his leg up over his head, doing some crazy shit, but he is making sure that he has a good cool down and good recovery for his body. Personally, I represent category number 2. I don't spend a whole bunch of time stretching out, cooling down, doing that whole ordeal at the gym. I like to do a little bit after my workout. Then on my active recovery days, I like to take half hour or so to do a complete warm up, do a stretch, roll my legs out with a roller, roll my back out, maybe get that massage gun out, maybe work on the areas that I'm currently feeling pain or having issues, or in those areas that are pretty common. Me, I did the bare minimum, just enough to get by and get to the next training session, and I didn't want to take any time away from training to stretch or do the mobility training. I did what I needed to do as far as leaving the gym and what I needed to do on my active recovery day, because I thought that was all I needed. Now I started working yoga and mobility training into my training regimen. I feel so much better. That leads us right to our first point: injury prevention and care. Yoga and mobility training shine here because the exercises that are used for this are meant to be beneficial to your body with little to no risk. They like to take care of those weak areas, such as your rotator cuffs, your shoulders, your wrist, your knees. These are all areas that over time can start to have damage, start to show wear and tear, and it will affect your training. This kind of active recovery promotes blood flow in that area, and then you add the stretch in with it. This will keep you in the ring longer and with less injuries because you're being responsible and you're taking care of your body the way that it needs it. Especially after all those rounds and years of training, you're just beating the hell out of your body. I know all of you that are serious about combat sports, you're always pushing your body a little bit farther than what it needs to be going. But that comes with the mentality. That's why they're there. That's why you have those champs, because they do that. Reason number 2 is all about flexibility. Now, I'm a boxer. I don't roll. I don't do any sort of kicking. My flexibility is not often challenged. But when I need it, it does count. What comes to mind is throwing that 2 down the pipe, right? With a bladed stance, and if I'm trying to get the most out of that 2 and the most range, then that puts a lot of twist on my mid body. With that big rotation in your midsection, with less flexibility, you're going to limit your range and you're going to limit your power. On top of that, you're just not going to be as loose in the ring. And we all know, boxer, MMA fighter, whatever it is, you know the importance of being loose and being able to flow. Being flexible directly relates to that. Do you see how this is going to be beneficial to you yet? Why did all the old school boxers not want to train heavy weights, not train like a bodybuilder? Some of them completely swear against strength training unless it's some sort of calisthenics. Because they didn't want to get all jacked up. Why? Because it affects your mobility and it affects your flexibility. Now, can you be a big jacked up dude and still be flexible? Of course. But at a certain point, the muscles start to cramp the frame of the body and it starts to cramp your mobility. And you're going to have a hard time moving the same way you would if you didn't have all that extra pounds on you. This results in a person that can't wash their back without having one of those loofah sticks to be able to hit it. In combat sports, that's why you're not seeing these big, muscled up, jacked up dudes. That's the reason, okay? Stick with me. Before I go on to point number 3, I want to say a huge thank you, a huge shout out to the Breathe and Flow channel. They're the YouTube channel that I found that allowed me to start the yoga and mobility training, and I've been following them ever since. They do some great work on the channel. They help me out. It's helped my game get better. It's helped me get better in the ring. And for you BJJ guys out there, there's a whole section dedicated to yoga for jiu-jitsu. The guy who does the male portion of the yoga classes, he's into BJJ. That's what he does on the side. And so he understands the weak points of the body for these athletes that do that, and he understands the injuries that come with it. So if you want to start doing these yoga, these mobility exercises, but you don't know where to start, you don't know how to do it correctly, go check out their channel. I promise it will be beneficial to you. Point number 3, it forces you to learn how to breathe. If you're in combat sports, there's a chance that you already know how to do this, but yoga will help you increase your ability. Throughout all the movements, all the exercises, you're forced to concentrate on your breath. Some of the workouts even involve specific breathing exercises. In combat sports, it's very important to know how to control your breath and know how that breathing affects you. Learning how to control your breathing even more, control that heart rate, and control your gas tank, that's all going to set you apart. Reason number 4 is pretty simple. It's a change of pace. After years of training, beating on your body, throwing weights around, high intensity cardio, it's nice to just take a couple minutes, change up the pace, slow it down, and really focus on your body. It's still challenging in its own way, and it forces you to use muscles that you might have never used before. It is slower than your normal workout, so at first you might be like, am I really getting anything out of this? No, you're not getting the same benefits as you are from your road work or from your time inside the ring. But yoga, in its own sense, can be very difficult, and it comes with its own side benefits. I do feel like it's helpful to engage in other sports other than the combat sport that you're involved in. If it's some sort of sport or activity that challenges you, changes things up, whether it be mentally or physically, it can all help you improve in the ring or in the cage. You see a lot of high-class boxers doing this. Whether it's just their side hobby that they like to go throw some hoops with their boys, or if you look at champs like Usyk, he plays soccer, he swims, he does, there's so many things that man does other than boxing in his training regimen for boxing itself. I mean, everything from other sports to mental training exercises. I think we can all agree that being a well-rounded athlete, being able to do other sports and having other abilities could effectively help you in the ring. As long as these activities don't take away from the main effort, then they can all be beneficial to you in some sort of way. So I want to know, have you ever done yoga before? If you're in combat sports, do you feel like yoga can be useful? Let me know down in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and again, please make sure to go check out Breathe and Flow if you want to give yoga and mobility training a shot. Essentially, it's going to help you out, and I promise if you do it for a week, you're going to start to see some improvements. You're going to feel a little bit better in some of your areas of training. I'm going to continue using them. I can tell you that because they do a fantastic job. And the benefits, I just can't talk about them enough. As always, ladies and gents, thanks for tuning in to Punch Club.